locked in. Slick I'm feeling.
Being taller than Tom Cruise and owning a Honda Prelude aren't really two things that go together.
If you're like me and enjoy having a low steering wheel position but upright seating position, then every time you go to hit the clutch, you kind of just hitting the steering wheel.
And heaven forbid you ever try wear a helmet in the car. The worst part is, I'm really not even that tall. So we're gonna fix that by installing a set of these. These are CRX Del Sol seats, and people from the Civic community will normally know them as one of the best seats to swap into your EG or EK chassis. The reason we're interested in them is because the frame of the seat sits really low, and these will sit me about an inch lower than the factory Honda Prelude seats, while still keeping a decent amount of bucketing. So I won't really lose any of that nice grip that the factory seats have. Let's do this. I do apologize, this car is quite dirty right now, but the best part about taking seats out is it is the easiest way to clean a car. Your factory Honda Prelude seat has four bolts. Has 4 bolts that hold it in. 2 at the front and then 2 at the back. Ew, why is that one wet? Sticky wet too. You'll want a decent breaker bar for getting the seat bolts themselves out. The things that hold your seat to the car itself in the event of a collision, normally done up pretty tight. Or not. That's that's concerning. That came loose really easily. I find it easiest to loosen all the bolts first, as it just helps keep everything in place while you're actually cracking them. Once you've got all the bolts out, the last thing you'll have to do is make sure that your seatbelt warning is disconnected, which, mine already is. And then out she comes. Here we have our driver's side Prelude seat, and here we have our driver's side Del Sol seat. What we want is to swap the rails from the Prelude seat onto the Del Sol seat, and that will allow us to bolt it in properly with very minimal modification. First, we'll pop off the covers for the bolt holes and put them aside somewhere where we're definitely not going to lose them. We also need to take off the actual adjustment handles themselves. Now, thankfully, these are just pressed in, so you can just grab it, give it a polite pull, and it'll eventually come off. And take out the Phillips head screws holding in the plastic cover, and slide over the handle to come out. If you've never done a seat swap before, get ready to see some gross shit. Now we're just going to do the same on our Del Sol seat, so we can have a look at all the mechanics side by side and make sure everything that we want to match up will match up. On this side, we're just going to swap the slider. These bolts look like they should just about line up between the both. If not, we might have to drill a hole, but we'll get creative with it. You'll kind of have to manhandle your seat to get these bolts out, as they're Loctited from factory. And as you can see, the other rail bolt is actually mounted from the bottom, so we're just going to have to move the rail forward to get that. Unclip this little wire here. And there you have it, your Del Sol slider is off. Gently pull that out, get the wire off, and there's your first Prelude slider. Let's see how that lines up on this side. It doesn't really. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drill a small hole through this bracket, and that will let us bolt it in. Let's see how we did. Pretty dead on. The last thing I want to do for this side is just drill a hole through this center point here, and that way we've still got 3 solid mounting points in this seat. Not bad. Now, those of you playing along at home may already realize a problem I'm about to run into. See, this channel that I've just drilled a hole through also houses the wheel mechanism that makes your roller work. And as you can imagine, if you put a bolt through here, you're not going to be able to get the rail back. So this will restrict how far your seat can go just a little bit. I'm just going to roughly center that so we're not in the way of any wheels. And then we are going to put a nutser into it. There we go. Get that on there. Flip the seats over and do similar for the other side. Taking a rough look at it, all these mounting points look roughly in the same position. So I'm going to take everything off of this side, not just the slider, and put it on the Del Sol seat. Now this will just wiggle out like so, and so. And with any luck, we can just wriggle it back in. Not quite. Stop panicking. I figured out what I did wrong. These Del Sol seats actually came out of an EK Civic, and this is the bracket for an EK here. You're meant to take the original Del Sol seat bracket, drill out these two little rivet points so you can use this front bracket on the Prelude rail. And there we have it. There's our two brackets. For those wondering, I am using actual graded bolts here. Please don't use cheap bolts on your seats. You don't want to go flying in an accident. The back hole of your Del Sol bracket and of the Prelude seat rail will line up so you can just put a bolt straight through it to get everything into position. However, we are going to have to drill a hole just here for the second bolt to go through the bracket. Lovely. So for getting this bracket back onto the seat rail itself, we're just going to get a large washer on one side to help distribute the load, and then we'll have a smaller washer and the nut on top of that. Now we're ready to actually put it on the seat. It can take a bit of wrestling to get everything back into alignment after you've had the seat apart like this. Don't forget to hook your seat wire back up. Now we just tighten everything up again, and then it's time for a test fit. Well, there we go. That's certainly nice and snug for our test fit. Wow. Damn, that sets you a decent bit lower. So the only thing that's left is to make the other side match. So I'll take this one back out, give the dirty carpet a clean, and swap that other seat.